So, hello friends, welcome back once again to the XBHP Talks. This is the live session from the XBHP headquarters. And every time when we come online, we bring some interesting personalities. We talk about bikes, we talk about biking, and today, most of you might have already read or seen who is coming, but then biking is something that makes us feel like a hero. And when you're a hero, you get that kind of electrifying charm in yourself, right? So uh, going on rides, going on long rides is something which we all do, but one thing that many of us tend to forget or maybe tend to ignore is the health. So when we are there, we need to take care of ourselves, we need to take care of our health, we need to take care of what we do, and sometimes it is also good to contribute to the nature, right? And that can actually be done by going back to the times when we were child, when we were young, when we were actually, I was right, like I was about to say, when we were young children. So yeah, so we all started our journey of biking through two wheels. Now those two wheels were very important in our life. Most of us actually started with cycles, and we just cannot ignore the fact that the invention of those two wheels were from the cycles, right? Now I won't take much of the time here. I'll straight away go and welcome the guest of today for the talks. We have ridden the cycles from hero since childhood, but now is the time when we actually have to move into the electrifying future. And with that, I welcome Mr. Rohit Sharma, who is the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer of Hero Lectro. So, hey, welcome, Rohit. Welcome. I sorry. I yes now. So, welcome so much to the XBHP Talks, and it is so good to see you. I remember, like, just before the lockdown was the time when we did the last meetup, and that was with Hero Electro. So, yeah, before I go ahead and start talking about that activity, that event that we did, welcome on the show.
Thank you so
And
much, Dr. Manan. It's such a pleasure to talk to you always, online or offline. It's just such a pleasure.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Rohit, we have a lot of questions, and actually, a lot of people have been asking us offline some set of questions because everybody is excited and curious about knowing about cycle, and a lot of people they want to go back into the good habits or the healthy habits, I would say, healthy habits of cycling, but they just cannot because of the lifestyle that we have. The eating habits that we have, the way we spend our time in the sitting in the chair. So that actually has changed a lot. So a lot of people are scared, and even if not scared, they are they are not very confident that will they be able to get back into the cycling or not. So I think that is where the electro plays the role. Am I right with that?
Yeah, Dr. Manan, like I like I've been seeing all around, this lockdown has resulted in a lot of sedentary lifestyle. Most people have been relegated to staying at home, spending disproportionate time on screens, whether be
Yeah.
it for work or taking some time off work. I think most people have been kind of completely, I would say, chained to screens. बहुत
Yeah.
लोग टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हैं स्क्रीन्स पे काम के लिए, otherwise doing Google, finding out what's going around them, which has resulted in a lot of inactivity. And whatever limited chance or limited time they get to step out, it's filled up with a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. And but such is life, that you still have to step out either for some errands or some work, or somebody has to really step out in an emergency. I think the humble bicycle has kind of come to the rescue of millions of people. I think cycle in all its forms, be it the classic bicycle which Hero manufactures and is a brand leader in the category, or the newly launched electric cycles. I think they are such a wonderful solution for people to actually maintain social distancing, to ensure they get the right amount of exercise, because घर पे इतनी देर से रहते हैं, थोड़े मतलब inactivity हो जाती है. And the fact of the matter is that the brand which I'm talking about, Hero Lectro, is such a innovation, such a beautiful marvel that it gives you the liberty to actually ride it like a normal bicycle or use the electric. It's got an electric drive unit and powered by a lithium-ion battery that allows you not to pedal. So you could cover distances of anywhere between 15 to 25 kilometers on a single charge. So yeah,
Lovely.
so in these times, I think Lectro is a great product which has come to the savior of millions of people across.
Right.
We've seen
So
a surge in
yeah,
sales.
so absolutely. So as you have correctly said that Lectro has come up as a savior. So with that, I actually have a question. Like, uh, how did this idea of coming up with the Hero Lectro? Like, what was the inception? Like, if you can just tell us more about the inception of this particular thought.
Yeah. Uh, so Hero Cycles has been in the business of making cycles, selling cycles, and marketing cycles for the last 70 odd years. And we've been always in the pioneer of innovation. आज से करीब 30 साल पहले, Hero had launched a product called Ranger. And I'm not sure whether how many young people are watching this. If people of my age,
Oh, that
they'll
was
relate.
my first cycle,
Yeah,
Hero
so
Ranger.
yeah, Hero Ranger was a cycle which was like a much ahead of time, much ahead of time. Bold colors, yellow frame, thick tires. तो उस टाइम बहुत लोगों ने बोला पता नहीं क्या है ये. It was much ahead of time, but Hero as a brand has always been ahead of the curve in understanding what the forthcoming trends are going to be. World over, electric cycles and electric other EVs, two wheelers, three wheelers, four wheelers, scooties. It's really making a big impact. And in India, we realized, and in fact, there are reports backing that as well. The Energy Resource of India, which is a government body, has published a report 2 years back that most urban commutes are under 10 kilometers. And under 10 kilometers, जब बंदा कोई या person कोई commute कर रहा होता है, there is no point taking out a car, because not only the car occupies such a lot of space on the road, there's so much of emission, there's parking, there's so much more to that. Now imagine a state, a world, a city where there are cycles being ridden on the road. I mean, Europe is leading by example. And now that's how the innovation came about, that how could we kind of change the cycle in such a way that it becomes convenient. It is, of course, it has to be emission free, and it becomes very, very easy for people to use and ride. And that's how Hero Lectro was born about 3 years back. The 3 year journey has been an absolutely stunning journey. We've been growing month on month. I can't tell you the numbers, but very, very encouraging rates of growth. And the
Right.
acceptance, most importantly, because क्या होता है कि साइकिल का जो प्लेटफॉर्म है वो एक फेमिलियरिटी है उसमें. Now if you kind of create a nice innovation around it and try and better that experience, people are ready to accept it. Like you had Android phones and you had analog phones, and people moved into to smartphones. Similarly, from cycles to smart cycles, it's been an excellent journey. 3 years and going strong. And I'm sure in the coming years, e-cycles are going to be seen much more than what they are on the road currently.
Right, right. That no, that's actually great. So I actually have a follow-up question on that part because we all have been seeing Hero as a brand for a very, very long time. As you rightly said, like Hero Ranger, like that was my first cycle. Actually, first big cycle. Before that, I used to ride the small cycles. But then, yes. So Hero already has a thriving bicycle business and a growing electric scooter business as well. So where does the Lectro brand fits in?
So, like I said, cycles have always been the bread and butter, because they're, like you said, your first big cycle was a Hero Cycles. And the
Right.
fact of the matter that there are some brands which are culture brands. I mean, Hero is not a product; it's a culture brand. It's a way. So Hero Cycles is a category. जब किसी को साइकिल लेनी होती है, वो दुकान में जाके बोलता है हीरो साइकिल देना. 9 out of 10 chances are that he will end up buying a Hero cycle, but he goes. It's almost like Colgate toothpaste. You might end up buying some other toothpaste, but you
True.
go ask for that. And that's the power of the brand. And
So that
nine
has
out of
become the
ten times,
synonym.
yeah, it becomes a synonym. I mean, so 9 out of 10 times people end up buying a Hero cycle. Now, Hero cycles is catering to various segments, from kids segment to teen segments. Then you have the timeless black cycles, and then you have the super premium cycles as well. Now, there is a segment which is increasingly growing, which is in the functional usage and a recreational usage. For example, people, and especially millennials, they don't
Yeah.
believe in spending money in long term liabilities. People, you would notice, are spending less and less to buy expensive cars. People feel that I don't want to buy a house and pay 20, EMI for 20 years. I want to live life today, here and now. And I want to spend money in experiences. I want to do a world tour. I want to kind of pursue a hobby. I want to become a startup. And people have become very smart spenders. However, life has to go on, and they have to commute from point A to point B. And people are looking at different ways of commuting. And especially in these COVID times, people are looking at alternate mediums of commuting. And that's how Hero actually envisaged this need state and launched a product which gives you the best of a cycle and the innovation of an EV. Now,
Right.
anybody wanting to commute between 15 to 25 kilometers has a great product which allows him or gives him the liberty to ensure that he doesn't need to pedal. He uses the electric power, and it's extremely convenient as well. Parking का कोई issue नहीं है, license का कोई issue नहीं है, cost of ownership is so low, it's so handy, you can just carry it back home. It's so convenient. It's like a smart generation के लिए एक smart product. So I think
Absolutely.
तो
Yeah.
वो नीड स्टेट हमने बहुत अच्छे से एड्रेस किया है.
Now, actually, you mentioned it very right. You said like you don't really have to worry about parking it or where to take it. Actually, with that, I would like to show a few pictures which actually talks about that you can go and do anything with the cycles. So, for example, like when you have a cycle, you tend to take routes which are less taken. You can actually go off
Yeah,
roads.
yeah,
You can actually walk with your cycle, which is little difficult with the other vehicles there. The best part is you can keep your cycle all the time with you, whether you want to take it to your office, or if you are as crazy as like me, maybe you can just keep it right next to
yeah.
you,
That's being
even while
passionate.
you're
That's
sleeping.
being passionate. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Right. So that is what, like, people can actually do a lot of things. They can actually get back into the shape, because a lot of people are health conscious but they do not get time to exercise or go around for walking or jogging or something, but maybe they can use cycle as a mode of commutation. I think there is a question, do you think the biggest roadblock in India to cycling is our weather? So that is the question that is there.
100%. 100%. I mean, but देखो जहाँ चाह होती है वहाँ राह होती है. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been a biker myself. My first trip from Delhi to Rohtang was in the peak of summers. Okay, and in my motorcycling gear and driving through the hot, humid weather of Delhi, Haryana, Himachal, and then reaching to eventually Rohtang was a nightmare. But I think from a practical point of view, if you want to really ensure that you want to stay fit, you want to be using a product which is very economical, very practical, very, because आज की डेट में क्या होता है, everybody is an armchair activist. I want to do something for the world, but I wish I could do something. So Hero Electro is a great example of making sure that life doesn't change much, but it changes so much around you. For example,
Right.
अगर जिन लोगों को साइकिल चलानी होती है, ऑफिस जाना होता है, I mean, on World Bicycle Day, I rode down to office. My office is about 10 odd kilometers from here. I sat on the Lectro, I rode it. I went early in the morning. I finished at about 5 o'clock. I came back. It was a nice breezy ride. So, I mean, yes, weather definitely is an issue, but I think there are ways and means of going around it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So while we were talking about weather, so the turning point of the weather, or rather, I should say, for everything that is happening right now around the world, which actually started, at least in India, it started in the month of later half of the March or something like that, when the lockdown actually happened. So before that, the last activity that we did, the last meetup that we did, was about cycles, was about going back to the healthy habits, and that was done with the support of you, support of Hero Electro. And surprisingly, I was surprised and wondered to see how many bikers were interested
Wow.
and they were excited to be part of this. So this is a photo from that particular meetup, wherein
Wow.
this is just one photo, and we all rode from Qutub Institution in Delhi to Motor Ranch in Gurgaon, and we had some real great fun. So these are some of the photos from there, and it feels so good that a lot of bikers were coming forward, bikers, super bikers, they were coming forward to participate and they were enjoying.
Yeah, I
So
mean, Dr. Mohan, like you mentioned, I mean, every, for example, most bikers have actually graduated from cycling. I
cycles,
mean,
absolutely.
like you
Yeah,
mentioned, that was the first. It's like the first love of your life, or the first
absolutely.
thing. This is the first thing which you always do in life, which always remains very, very special.
Yeah,
You're going to school, your first job, college, first
that's
girlfriend,
right.
whatever. Cycle से एक वो connection है. I mean, the
Absolutely.
soul of a motorcycle is also about that, about the free spirit of riding, the wind through your hair, and your me time. So, I mean, it was, I think, why most bikers came back for this particular event was the fact that it was like going back to the old charm of saying that I wish I still had time to ride a bicycle. And the
Right.
fact that because we're
Or I
talking about,
still have that stamina or
yeah,
endurance.
yeah. And also the fact that, अरे electric cycle है, इसमें कुछ innovation होगी. Will it give me the feel of a motorcycle? Will I be able to do what I can? And most interestingly, our products are designed in such a way that you can ride it during commuting, you can take it for off-roading, you can take it for downhill. I mean, so without being gender biased, I'm saying it actually brings out the boy in you. That streak of exploration, that streak of going out and doing something, थोड़ा speed बढ़ा के कुछ ऐसे करें. It's a feeling I can't explain until, of course, you sit on the saddle and experience it yourself.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, knowing the fact that cycle itself in today's time, most of the youngsters they actually wish to go ahead and lay their hands on the best of the motorcycles right now. So it's a very niche segment for or niche market, at least in today's time. So, what are the plans that maybe Hero Electro might be working on to reach out to the masses?
So currently we have a range which is fairly wide and deep. We have three broad segments. One is a commute segment, which is essentially designed for people in the urban cities to ride from point A to point B in the city, mostly to run errands or any functional use or going to office and so on and so forth. The second is a fun series, which is slightly for younger people who are just getting into the category. They could either use it for an active lifestyle, for a recreation, for a leisure, ट्यूशंस एंड ऑल दैट यूजुअली क्या होता है अंडर एज ड्राइविंग बहुत होती है लोग पीपल चिल्ड्रन काइंड ऑफ टेंड टू यूज अ स्कूटी विदाउट अ लाइसेंस so that's the second segment which is a very very important segment to us and the third segment like you mentioned the people who are into super bikes and products which are premium and performance we have a collaboration with Yamaha as well, and we have a mid-motor drive electric cycle, which is state of the art. I mean, it's got six sensors. It's got a battery which gives you a range of about 70 odd kilometers. It's designed for performance and for off-roading. It's almost like a motocross of e-cycles. So I mean, the segment is divided wide and deep, both from a entry level point of view for functional and commuter usage, for a fun and recreational leisure usage, which is the youngster, and definitely a performance set as well. जो कि it really pushes the limits of performance from a machine point of view and from a rider point of view as well.
Absolutely, because as you were talking about the range of cycles that we have from Hero Electro, I must admit, uh, I I rode Soundmaster quite a well. And honestly, I rode a cycle, not rode it. I rode a cycle after 20 years, 20 odd years. And I was so scared. I thought like I may not be able to ride more than a kilometer or something because I am completely out of cycling. But honestly, on that day when actually we took out for a shoot, and I think, yeah, this is from that shoot itself. So we rode around 30-35 kilometers, and I did not feel tired at all. I did not
Yeah,
feel tired. I felt that yes, I did some kind of physical activity, obviously because I was cycling, but because of the electric assistance that we get from the cycle or from the motor that we have. I think it has got the rear hub motor, correct?
that's right. That's right. It's got
Perfect,
an
yes.
electric drive unit as well. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so the experience and the confidence that it gives you is amazing. Like when I
Yeah.
sat on the bike, I thought like, oh my god, now this is going to be very challenging. I have to pedal it, I have to go uphill, I have to go downhill, and I don't know how to do it. I know how to do it, but will I be able to do it or not? So that was very, very scary for me to start with. But as soon as I just took the first pedal, and I felt, oh, it's moving.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, I mean
It,
that's that
it's
first
moving.
thing when you sit on a bike and the surge when it gives you, you go
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah, and to all the audience there, you might not know, or if you don't know, please go ahead and check out about it, because we've got a throttle. We've got a throttle in the cycle, and that gives the feeling of a biker. Because
Yeah,
what does that throttle do? Obviously, it has got a motor. It actually puts the power to the cycle, and just one pedal, and I think about 6 kilometers an hour. That is
yeah,
the
that's the truth. That's the truth mode. You just sit down and just do nothing. It just rides on your
yeah,
own.
yeah. Honestly, like we were shooting, and we were enjoying, and some of the bikers, like on the red light, we were standing over there. So a lot of people were actually looking at me that, who is this guy, and why is he standing right there in the like traffic? Because most of the time it happens that, okay, cycle, okay, it has to be right extreme
Yeah,
and the left. I was also actually on the left side, but I was among the biker. And when I started, the bikes were still trying to like change the gear and move forward, and I was already maybe 10 15 feet ahead. So when the this biker actually, he crossed by me, and he was looking at me like, who is this guy? What kind of cycle is that? Because cycle looks very normal. There
yeah,
is
yeah.
like, it, you cannot figure out that there is something inside it.
Yes, yes. That's the
And the
marvel of
experience,
engineering. You know, the battery is
yeah,
inside the
absolutely.
round tube. You can't make out. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's completely concealed. So
Yes.
people were thinking like, they either this guy is so powerful, or the cycle is so powerful. Something is wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so that was the experience that I had with Lectro, and actually, yeah. So I wrote Townmaster. I wrote EHX. EHX is again a wonderful cycle. Wonderful cycle. I think that is the most powerful cycle that we have got.
Yes, yes. It's a state of the art. Like I said, it's a collaborative product of Yamaha and Hero. It's got a mid motor, and I mean, it's just the state of the art. It's got sensors. It's got distance to empty. It's got adjustable shockers. It's a
Wow.
21 speed cycle. I mean, it's just state of the art. It's like a
So
boy. It's like a
it's
boy's
a
toy.
prac-
You know.
yeah. So it's practically a super bike of cycles.
Yes, it is a superbike. E-cycle.
Ah, perfect, perfect. So, yeah, so I was actually about to ask you, like, if you can just tell us the idea behind the EHX20, but I think you have already answered that question.
Yes.
Now, uh, considering the entire scenario of the cycling as a overall, you can say, as an industry. So, what do you think? Like, how much role does the pricing play in the success of a premium product like Electro?
So, Dr. Manan, I mean, India is a very price sensitive market, and
Absolutely.
irrespective of what product you buy, be it a consumer durable, your garments, or a car, or automobiles, and all that, people are value maximizers. You know, कि 10 रुपए की चीज में आपको कितना value मिलता है. I mean, I won't be surprised even if people go to buy a Mercedes, invariably people will ask कि mileage क्या है बताएंगे जरा इसका. You know, या उसकी resale value कैसे है. I mean, it's too deeply ingrained in us. So I think Electro has a wide range starting from early 20,000 to 1.35 lakhs. And like I said, each product in its each segment and price range is specially designed for that particular user. For example, जो 30,000 रुपए की cycle है, it will give you a maximum delivery of the value of money you have spent with regards to the features of the product. Similarly, for a 1.35 lakh product, it is completely state of the art because the user is expecting certain aspects or quality or features of the product. So, Hero, by definition, has always been a master of value for money and always will remain. So, to answer your question, a range starting from 23,000 to 1.35 gives you a wide spectrum to choose a product which is just right for your pocket and for your usage as well.
Lovely. So actually, somebody has asked this question earlier in the conversation here. The question was about the pricing.
Yeah.
So So as you have already answered that question, so I think Aditya was the one who was asking this question about the pricing. So yes, that is the answer to all the people who are watching this and who will be watching this later on the recorded version. So the pricing is from the early 20,000s to 1,30,000, right?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, anybody watching this, anybody keen to know more about the product, please follow our Instagram handle, Hero Lectro, our website, www.herolectro.com. There's a full range of products. It talks about what the product is, why is it so special, how does it work, how much does it cost, and what is the range as well. And anyways, you are just a phone call away, Manan. I'm sure you are a great brand ambassador for us. So please
No,
keep spreading the word.
actually, yeah, absolutely. So, see, I am always there for a brand or a product which actually makes me feel good. So, I'm talking about the product. So, that is how, like, the experience was amazing when I used it. So, yeah, coming back to the agenda here. Now, we were talking about the activity that we did post lockdown. Now, the lockdown has actually changed a lot. So, how has the this current pandemic situation has affected the business when it comes to Lectro? Actually, to any of the product over there.
Uh, you know, frankly speaking, I think the most important thing, just a second. Uh, so, Dr. Man, I mean, the most important thing during these COVID times and post these COVID times, there are certain things which has changed forever. For example, the environment, for example, the way we work, for example, how we socialize. And during this time, cycles has become quite a hero. And no pun intended here, but I'm saying the fact of the matter is that there is a certain demand, there's a certain surge in the demand of cycles and e-cycles. In the last 2 months, we've seen a surge of about approximately 30% month on month sales. People are coming and asking for cycles, not only because कि suddenly उनको cycle करने का शौक हो गया है. I think they feel it's a practical solution to a complicated problem. Social distancing, health, environment, practicality, leisure, so many things. So during these times, I think people have come back. There's a saying, now what goes around comes around. I think people are coming
Absolutely.
back to the basics. People are wanting to lead a simpler lifestyle, not spend much money, eat good things, do well for the environment. And yeah, so I think cycle is just a part of this cycle of change. I mean, it's very, very heartening to see that the brand is making deep inroads back into the lives of people, the hearts of people, and on the roads as well.
Absolutely, that's really wonderful. And with that, I think we are also short on time right now, and you also have some other place to go and some other works to attend. So, with that, would you like? Is there anything else that you would like to say to our viewers over there?
Yeah, sure, sure. I mean, there are certain things which should be a part of your life. It's almost like a phone has become an inseparable part of your life. I think irrespective of who you are, what you do, where you stay, I think you all should have a cycle. I mean, a cycle is such an interesting thing to have. It's a companion of good health. It's a friend which gives you your me time. It's a great tool to pay back to the environment, and it's so much more. It's just simply joy. I mean, cycle doesn't see any gender, age, socio-economic strata. I mean, you can be anybody, but you can enjoy the universal charm of cycling. And when you buy an e-cycle, it just gets better. Because it brings back your childhood joy. The fact that how you used to एक बेफिक्री थी, एक ना एक खुला आसमान होता था. You used to be riding and the wind through your hair, and there was a certain pure joy. I think that's what e-cycles are. And during these COVID times, if you are feeling depressed, if you are feeling anxious, if you are feeling a little scared, I think go get yourself a bicycle and an e-cycle. You'll really, really feel good about it. Sit on the saddle, just twist the throttle, and you know what I'm talking about.
So actually, the last part was amazing. Sit on the cycle and twist the throttle. So, so that is
Yeah.
something which is, I think, the takeaway from this. That for all the bikers, even if you go on a cycle, you will not miss a bike. Actually,
Yes,
cycle,
indeed.
you will not miss a motorbike. Right.
All right,
So,
all right.
with that, thank you so much, Rohit. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And it was lovely talking to you. And I hope you enjoyed the interaction here.
Yeah, yeah. I think, Dr. Manan, before I sign off, one quick word to both you and Sunny. I think I've known you guys for almost 20 years now. You guys are absolutely fantastic. You're a great example for all the youngsters out there that if you really believe in something, you should follow your dreams, you should follow your passion and give it all you have. Success will happen and you will definitely do well, be it motorcycling, be it automobiles, and also the fact that how well you have been able to reinvent yourself, reposition yourself. It's a great honor to be associated with you guys. So more power to you, more extra brake horsepower to you, more XBHP to you. All the very best.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much with that. And with those lovely wishes, we would like to sign off with you, and we'll go ahead and talk to the audience there.
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. And so, guys, that was Rohit from Hero Electro Cycles. And as he said, the cycle is a very essential part of the life. Absolutely. Why not? Because life is all about life cycle. So when there is a life cycle, I think it is good to have a cycle in your life, right? So with that, I would like to sign off from today's session, and we will come back with somebody else who is as interesting as him, and we will discuss more about biking, about bikes, and something different. So, till the next time, ride safe, ride hard, stay safe, and we'll see you later.